Okay, folks. I know that before you saw a wheel spin on the stream, but I've been told that they were the incorrect categories. I'm gonna have to spin again. You got double the spinning this time around. And this time we've landed on No Cape, No Star World. I'll just fix up the race room for the races. No Star World, No Cape, No Star World, and 11 exit. Rcalarc chose to cancel No Star World, while Pesu chose to cancel all castles. And now that the wheel has been spun, it'll be No Cape, No Star World for the first one. So I'm just confirming that everyone's going to be ready, and then we can get these guys going. So good luck to both of the runners. And now that they've readied up, I can leave here and we'll get going. So with No Cape, No Star World, going by speedrun.com, their current PBs, Rcalarc has a 38.45 from the beginning of last year, and Pesu has a 37.34 from towards the end of last year, so more recent of a PB. Don't know how much Rcalarc has been running lately to de-rust or potentially get some PBs going, but not a whole lot in it between the two times. So to begin with, pretty much every category will be the same in World 1, apart from all switches, I guess, but for now, they don't have to think too much. Just into YI2, continuing on. And we got a 360 from both runners. Oh. Looks like we're further ahead on Pesu's side now, but no problem. We can try and sync those up a little. We'll see Rcalarc entering YI3. And once again, towards the beginning, not a whole lot different with the category. Alright, looks like these are pretty synced up now, so... Of course, they'll be wanting to run on these brown platforms as long as possible to give them a little boost while avoiding the ones that are moving left. And they should both, yeah, both easily getting a 259 there. So far, neck and neck. Alright, well, we're just focusing on... Oh, never mind. So, Pesu avoiding the shell. Worth noting that you get a tiny bit less lag if you stomp on that red shell rather than just jumping over it if you are opting out of the shell jump. But not a whole lot in it. Didn't see the beginning of the screen, but got an 81 door on Pesu's side, so that's not bad. Oh, and an 80 on Rcalarc, so that's the first time that we've seen any kind of game time difference. But still, World 1 is negligible for the course of the run. So yeah, it was interesting that they've both chosen a single no-cape category for this. And out of the two that got deleted, none of them were a no-cape, so... Potentially feeling stronger with cape, but ended up our first one, no cape. So let's hope they remember not to grab that when they go into Donut Plains 1. Pesu's shooting those fireballs, making sure that he's going to get nowhere near that Super Koopa. Rcalarc running under them at the beginning. But still, everyone just avoiding those enemies. So I missed it on Pesu's side, but you can see the way they're getting up with Rcalarc. Using that Yoshi, immediately ditching him because no one likes a Yoshi around. And then, yeah, in these no-cape categories, it's not worth going into that dry room because the time that you'd save by grabbing the shell is mostly eliminated, actually, from the pipe transitions. So the fact that you can't use the shell in the first place just means that you'll end up going slower because of those transitions, even though it puts you a bit farther in the level. They're a lot slower than people tend to realize. But we can grab these items to help us swim a bit faster. So I wonder whether Pesu will be taking a safe spin onto the boots here, or go for the slightly faster one. Of course, goes for the faster strat. Nails it. You can go around the right side of those boos. Gives you way more time to get P-speed and make sure that the camera will pan up with you. But of course, you're running farther away from the door at that point, so just costs a bit of time. Rcalarc also going for the faster strat, which I'm not really surprised with, considering this is Class A. Our first Class A race of the tournament, by the way. And both of them going for with fire strats in Donut Plains 3. Pesu just frozen there. I'm sure he did fine in the level. You can see Rcalarc attempt it though. Ooh, did land on one of those grade platforms on the one that was moving to the left. You can make sure to land on ones that are going right. Give you the same kind of boost that you get in YI3, but like I say, that's negligible over the course of the run. Yeah, please forgive the technical difficulties that we're having at the moment. Hopefully they'll pass sooner rather than later. Interesting strat around the hammer bro there from Rcalarc. One that I've seen before, just jumping up the other side of it. But taking the blue shell so that it doesn't have to worry at all about the ending of the level. Can just fly over that part. Okay, we see Pesu over in the castle. And they're not as far apart as they look at the moment. We've got to pay attention to the timers. There's about 17 seconds, roughly, between the two. In terms of delay. Okay, Rcalarc taking that thwomp a bit safer. Can jump over him, but a little bit risky. He only has one fire flower, so don't want to lose that and have to take Morton slower. Okay, and there we see Rcalarc bring the spring up. We couldn't see what happened on Pesu's side, but looks like he didn't bring the spring. Looks like the dry bones and the layer 2 weren't lined up very nicely for him, so... interesting! So Pesu opted out of bringing the spring with him, probably used that to get up to the second layer. Well, Rcalarc could have used it, just dropped it in the pits and waited for the layer 2 to come back out of the wall as a stepping stone up. So, yeah. I believe Rcalarc is a bit ahead, but can't really say by how much at the moment. As I move into World 3. So 9:27 on the timer for the castle cutscene fade out on Rcalarc. And 30... oh wait, that was fade into it. So yeah, I guess Pesu, I'm assuming the problem was having to wait for the layer 2 in the second room of Morton's castle. Had to wait for that and lose some time. Rcalarc using that blue shell to get up to the key, no problem at all. And should be ditching this Yoshi in the next level. There he goes. Pesu grabbing a second fire flower there, that's a nice safety move. You definitely want to have that when you get to Ludwig. It's probably the slowest boss to not have fire flower for. So no, right after ditching Yoshi, grabbing another one back. This one will last us a while. And the timers are more or less synced now, so... whereas before I was saying they're actually closer than they look, it's pretty much accurate now. So Rcalarc finishing Vanilla Secret 2 pretty much around the same time that Pesu enters it. So while he is a level ahead, could still change over the course of the run. Grabbing that other backup fire again on Pesu's side. And will we see any dolphins being consumed today? That's the little quirk of the Japanese version of this game. They are edible. Rcalarc not very hungry. Would seem. Looks like Pesu also opted for avoiding animal cruelty as he enters the water fort. So there's not a whole lot here to do other than just dodge the fish bones, dodge the falling Doritos, basically just hold right and swim. And now we're done with our first Reznor of the run. Well, first 4 Reznors, I guess. So yeah, interesting that the way it's going currently, this category was Pesu's choice, but Rcalarc is the one leading the race for now. Seems to have been a little bit of a thing. I know that one of the other matchups, pretty much every race that was done in it was won by the person who didn't choose it. We'll see whether that's a continuing tradition over the course of the tournament. And if you want to go grab yourself a drink or anything while you sit in for the rest of the race, this would be a good time. Not a lot's going to happen in this level. There is a potential soft lock in this level, but only if they were going to grab a cape, which I should hope none of these guys are going to do. If you grab a cape while you're off screen on an auto-scroller, you'll soft lock the game. So don't do that. If you don't want to grab this cape when you're in technical difficulties. It was fairly last minute knowing who was going to restream this race, so... Thanks to Vert for actually getting it restreamed at all. So we see in Butterbridge 2, Rcalarc's already flying over, and yeah, Pesu grabs that blue shell fine as well. Moving on to the 4th castle. Wonder whether we'll be seeing any variants of strats here, or whether they'll just be going for the slower but safer strats. I'd say that the slower strats are basically just standard, faster ones are available if at a risk. Rcalarc's scrolling the screen. Relatively standard. Gets those Podoboos jumping a lot earlier, so you don't have to worry about getting singed mustaches. And then it's just a matter of climbing these fences. Up to our good old friend Ludwig. And speaking of singed mustaches, we want to throw 2 fireballs straight at his face. Looks like Rcalarc did that fine, not that we saw it. If you want to know what it looks like, there we go, Pesu showed us fine. Alright, so Rcalarc grabbing that second fire flower there, and coming into Forest of Illusion, you do want to make sure that you've got 2 fire flowers for the castle. It's not just for safety anymore, we do want to, ideally, to get through the castle as fast as possible. If you only have 1 power-up, then you can do a damage boost over some spikes to skip a little bit of the block snake later on, but if you have 2 fire flowers, you can do that damage boost and keep fire to kill the boss faster as well. So both of these guys have 2 at the moment. They'll be wanting to keep those at least until Chocolate Island. Well, at least until the castle, I guess. One of them will be going. Rcalarc having a bit of trouble getting into the wall there. Unfortunately, can't see how much trouble, but... Oh, Yoshi bouncing on the floor is not a sight we wanted to come back to. So you can manipulate your... Okay, never mind, he got lucky. So when Yoshi is bouncing on the floor there, you have no idea what his subpixel is. And that's something that you typically want to manipulate and keep at certain values to maximize your chances of getting through the wall. So it looks like those clip issues were enough for Pesu to take over, and now he's back in the lead. Oh wow, yeah. Never mind. The stream sync fooled me. Much closer together than it looked. Nice Forest of Illusion 3 there, showing us exactly how... Oh! I spoke too soon. That's unfortunate for Rcalarc. And the beginning of the castle, no big deal that we can't see it because he'll just be standing on a block snake. Hopefully we'll be able to see the second half. But yeah, the fact that Rcalarc only has 1 fire flower now means that he won't be able to beat Roy as quickly. Should still be able to damage boost through. Oh, and Pesu's walking 2 lava bubbles along with him as well. That's not what you want. So, opting out of the damage boost there. Oh, but never mind. Still has that one. So, interesting. Pesu had a bit of trouble with those lava bubbles and had to opt out of the damage boost, but will have fire for Roy. Personally, I would have probably tried to take that damage boost that we're seeing Rcalarc do here, even if he wasn't able to do it as well as grab this other Fire Flower, because you're saving more time doing that than the fire saves you overall. But they were being very tricky with him. So catching up a little bit to Pesu there, but not quite enough to catch up completely. So after blowing up that castle, we just get to read the Japanese warrant that the Dinosaur Land police put out for Mario's arrest. I'm sure that's what it is. And moving on to Chocolate Island. Should CI1 count as Chocolate Island? It's a little piece of land that rose out of the sea, but it's not connected. Regardless, seeing Pesu move on to the actual Chocolate Island now. Rcalarc having a bit of trouble getting in that pipe. Honestly, in no cave categories, I'm pretty sure that's not worth it, because the pipe transition is so long that the little bit of extra speed you get from shooting out the pipe is worthless. Nice small lonely strats on Pesu's side. Okay, will Rcalarc get... Oh! I was gonna say, will he get in a pipe this time, but no. Fell in another pit. That's unfortunate. Meanwhile, Pesu also taking a death. Getting a bit intimate with that Dino Rhino. Showing us how it's done this time, though. And Rcalarc not going for a swim in the void. That's what we like to see. Getting the backup mushroom. So hopefully won't be running into any enemies and taking a death this time. So yeah, Pesu, if they have the restream open, should see that they're far enough ahead now. They can take some strats a bit safer. Don't necessarily have to go as fast as they can. If they want to take some stuff safer, they've got plenty of a buffer to do that and not have to worry about losing the lead. So there we see the other Ghost House strat using the mushroom that was taken in CI1. Damage boosting through the Boo Laser. It's much tighter to get the damageless strat that Pesu showed off when you're not small, but still viable if someone wanted to go for it. The damage boost is a lot more standard though, for sure. Yeah, the restream's having some issues, but we're... Like I said before, we didn't know who was going to be restreaming until not long before the race. So all we can do is apologize for the jumpiness, I guess. Didn't have very long to set up. So while I was talking, Rcalarc did take another death. I wonder if nerves are getting to him a bit now. It's had having a few deaths. But like I said before, I think it's been a while since you ran this category. I could be wrong. Not a whole lot to say at the moment. Can't really commentate on stuff that I can't see, but nothing much we can do about it. Oh, there we go. Pesu jumping ahead now. I was about to say, if he stays frozen much longer, Rcalarc might catch up. So getting towards the end now, moving into the last world. Or I guess the ghost ship, and then getting into Valley of Bowser. Meanwhile, Rcalarc showing us how Wendy's castle is done. Nice crusher skip there. Rcalarc having a bit of trouble finding Wendy. Come on, get her soon, please. I'm sure that one hit. Vote now on your phones. Did he get her? Yep, yeah he did. Okay, and Pesu done with the ghost chip. Moving on to Valley of Bowser 1. But don't forget, folks, that this is a best out of 3 in terms of the final standings of the group. And so these guys will be racing again afterwards. So at the moment it's Pesu's race to lose, but doesn't necessarily mean he's won the whole thing. For anybody that's joined since the race began, the runners' selections were all switches, all castles, and 11 exit, no cape from Rcalarc, and no Star World, no cape, no Star World, which this race is, and 11 exit from Pesu. No Star World and all castles were banned by the runners, so the next race will either be all switches or 11 exit, no cape. This run was Pesu's choice, so the next one is going to be one of the 2 that are left that Rcalarc chose. And then if Rcalarc wins, well, Assuming that Pesu wins this one, if Rcalarc wins the next one and it's a tie, then one of the two remaining categories will be chosen. So that would be the other one out of all switches and 11 exit no cape and 11 exit. Pesu has quite the lead though at the moment, so I'll have to make a fairly big mistake or slip up for Rcalarc to catch up in this one. But you would expect Pesu to have a bit more of an advantage with this first race, considering it's his choice. And while the category to be chosen is not like the category to be ran is not known until the race is about to begin, the runners do tell each other which their options are at the time of scheduling the matches. So whenever it was that Pesu and Rcalarc scheduled their match, they've known since then which three or which two the other person has chosen that they'll have to practice at level 4. And Pesu entering the Bowser fight. So Pesu keeping this Mecha Koopa for the second phase. Means they'll be able to skip one of Bowser's bowling balls. He times the hit right. Meanwhile, Rcalarc's finishing up with the Valley of Bowser 2. Gets that luck jump up to the top there. Your height is dependent on your speed, and your speed isn't always at a constant value, even when you're at your max running speed. So getting up there is luck-based. So yeah, Pesu used that Mecha Koopa from the first phase, and then Bowser threw out 2 new ones. And thanks to the magic of maths, that means that we now have a Mecha Koopa for the third phase as well, extra. And we can use that to skip a little bit as well. Hitting Bowser early there means that he'll do a few less bounces than he would otherwise. And he'll give us 2 Mecha Koopas. 2 options to hit him, but we only need 1. And Pesu is done. Finishes with a time in the race room of 37:12. Congrats to Pesu. Oh, I thought that Dry Bones was gonna grab him then. He was breathing down his neck. So yeah, when Rcalarc is done, we can set up the race room for the next race. And Rcalarc entering Bowser now, so just another couple minutes. So yeah, even though this first race is drawing to a close, don't go anywhere. We still have at least one more race to come. Maybe two. Yeah, we're seeing Rcalarc taking the same strats that Pesu took as well, keeping that Mecha Koopa for the next phase. So doing that, you lose a little bit of time in the first phase, but you save back a ton in the next two phases. Oh yeah, someone's just pointed out in chat, that's right, Pesu PB'd with this, so a 37.20, going by his speedrun.com page. His previous PB was a 37.34. So 14-second PB. So yeah, I can subtract numbers. Congratulations on that. Meanwhile, hopefully this race has gotten Rcalarc warmed up a bit. I'm sure he'll be kicking himself about this run later. His respective PB is a 38.45, so this run is clearly not representative of his usual skill. And finishes with a 40.47. So congrats to the two of them. And we can get set up with the next race. Alright, we've got Rcalarc in the race room. Just waiting on Pesu and then we can spin the wheel. If you want to go grab a drink, we've got a little bit of time now. And here's the wheel. So because Pesu's race category was chosen first time around, the two that weren't cancelled by Rcalarc are on the spinner this time. And that'll be 11 exit, no cape. So two no cape races back to back. So this one was Rcalarc's choosing. And if he wins this one, the two categories that would be left for the tiebreak are all switches and 11 exit. So we'd be seeing some... If Rcalarc wins this one, we will see Cape today. But if Pesu wins this one again, then that's it. Alright, so ready to go. Just waiting on the countdown and we can get going with these guys. And there we go. So still not using Cape, but this one they are allowed to use Star World. And hopefully we'll be doing so. So should be getting through to Bowser again. Saving that Peach a second time, because she's already been captured again. And will be much shorter of a category. And some people may be thinking, you know, I'll choose shorter categories because there's less chances for me to screw up. Or it'll be over with quicker. But while that is true, a shorter category also means that any time loss is more costly. Because think about it. Say a death costs you 10 seconds. In 11 exit, that's a much bigger percentage of your run than it would be if you were running 96, for example. You know, while there's less opportunities to make a mistake, there's also less opportunities to make up from a mistake. So, choosing 11 exit no cape, you've got to either be pretty confident or pretty brave. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on at the moment because it looks like Pesu is 5 or so seconds ahead. Even though his timer is behind. Pesu messed up his timer. Okay. So ignore that. They should still be pretty even with each other at the moment. Neither of them going for the shell jump again. So we saw a little bit of variance in Iggy's castle in the first... Oh! Pesu takes a death! And as I was saying before, that can be pretty costly in this category. So it gives Rcalarc an opportunity to make up that lead that Pesu took from the last race. And while I say that the death is more costly in this category than it would be in others, doesn't mean that the race is over just yet. We've still got plenty to go. So this time it's Rcalarc leaving World 1 ahead of Pesu. And once again, the person whose category was chosen is now in the lead. Thanks for the reminder, Vert. So yeah, should be seeing the same Donut Plains one that we saw in the last race. Because still not allowed to grab a cape from those Super Koopas. I'm gonna utilize this Yoshi in the block here to get an extra jump up to the keyhole. Shown off beautifully there by Rcalarc. And looks like Pesu should be doing the same, no problem. And does. The difference this time is that in this water level, they'll be wanting to grab the secret exit to head towards the secret ghost house and then Star World. Still don't want to go into that pipe to the dry room though, still not going to give you any time save. But they will be hitting the switch. Rcalarc going for a damage boost strat there. We'll see. Pesu has fire, so just shoots the thing out of the way. Oh, blocked himself a little bit on that ceiling. But gets through. Oh, nice stair clip from Rcalarc. I was not expecting to see that today, but that's Class A for you. And I guess if he's going for strats like this, shows that he's confident in his 11 exit no cape skill. I guess that's why he chose the category. Big Boo fight. You don't risk for the first hit, bottom left for the second, and then roughly in the top middle for the final hit. Oh, looks like Pesu may have died. Didn't see exactly what happened there, but interesting. I would assume he didn't like just fall through the floor, so I'm guessing he got hit by one of the boos. The big boo itself doesn't actually have a hitbox; it can't hurt you. That's not true for the big boos that you find in some ghost houses. Just this boss big boo. It's harmless. Oh, it did fall through the blocks? So yeah, gives another opportunity for Rcalarc to gain some time. And I was going to say, I wonder what strategies these guys will be going with. You know, Pesu could have took it a little bit safer, perhaps, because knowing that he's already got one win in hand. Or perhaps you want to go risky for the exact same reason. Thinking you've not got much to lose. If you've already got a win in your pocket. So important that you see there, Pesu spinning through the bit where the dragon coin was, breaking less blocks, and going through the styled one a little bit quicker. And while he was doing that, Rcalarc took a death in styled 4. So Pesu gaining a little bit of time back thanks to that, but not quite enough. Since he's had a couple of deaths, we'd need a bit more for Rcalarc to get back, or for Pesu to get back in the lead. And last race we saw the back door of Bowser. This time we'll enter through the front door. We're minding our manners a bit this time. We've learned that he doesn't like just unannounced guests. Ooh, Rcalarc, Pesu, sorry. Didn't quite land on that grey block as well as we would have liked, so lost a little bit of speed. Also didn't eat both of the Koopas, so had to improvise a little bit, grabbing the blue shell, but got through it fine. Also chooses to dismount the Yoshi to grab that key. And the Bowser fight, small, should be the same as it was in the last race. No cape fight. Ooh, Pesu going for a bit of a faster strat than what Rcalarc was going for there, but... Oh, dang. Yeah, took some damage and then took a death. Not what you want to see. Probably would have been using that power-up to damage boost in door 5, but unable to this time. Yeah, going for the safer option this time through, don't really blame him. At this point, Rcalarc would have to die in Bowser to lose, and I doubt we'll be seeing that. And knowing that, I don't blame him for taking that power-up as well. You know, it's not your times that matter in this race. It's just getting one faster than your opponent. Pesu won the first race, so that was no cape, no Star World. It was also his selection, and so now Rcalarc, unless I cast a commentator's curse, is going to win this race, his selection. Which means that game 3 would be a random selection between... Oh, it's gone. Be a random selection between 11 exit and all switches. We'll see. So Rcalarc finishing up with an 11:44. His PB in this is an 11:19. So that death is the majority of that time loss. Looks like Pesu doesn't have an 11 exit no cape run on the leaderboards. So I don't know if that's that he just hasn't submitted any PBs, or whether this is his first finished run, but we'll see. So while we wait on Pesu to finish up, and finishes with a 13:08. Nice. 13:16 by the race room. I forget, the started his timer a bit late, I think. So 13:16 by the race room. So GG's to these runners. And we'll be soon moving on to the final race. And as I said before, if anyone's just joining us, the runners' categories that were chosen, Rcalarc chose all switches, all castles, and 11 exit, no cape. Pesu chose no Starwald, no cape, no Starwald, and 11 exit. All castles and no Starwald were both cancelled by their opponents. And so far we have had a no cape, no Starwald run, which was won by Pesu. And we've had an 11 exit, no cape run, which was just won by Rcalarc. And moving on, it'll be a random one between all switches and 11 exit. For the final wheel spin. And it'll be all switches. So we'll finally be seeing some cape, but not for the beginning. So the final race category will be Rcalarc's other choice. So I'm sure he'll be a bit glad now, coming off of a win, going into his other category of choice. So we'll see. Here's a tip for all switches. Okay, these guys have read it up. I'll leave the race room and got the countdown going. So here's a tip for all switches. First of all, clear out all of your save files in case you... Wait, no, never mind. Clear out file A and race on file A. Because if you go for an orb and you crash, you want to be able to just mash through the intros, the title screen as quickly as possible. If you're on file B or C, you'll have to go back onto the same one, and you'll have to be a bit slower to make sure that you menu down to the correct file. So both our runners starting off. Pesu not grabbing Yoshi, so it looks like he might be doing no orb. Which in that case, he'll be having to hope that Rcalarc messes up quite a bit or crashes on some orbs. So taking different routes here. So this will be a bit interesting. Oh, basically looks like may have just forgotten about it. Which is understandable, considering that... yeah. Alright, there we go. So we'll be going for an orb. But just losing a little bit of time having to go back into the level. Yeah, that's one of the things with this tournament, is because you don't know which category you'll be racing until the race is pretty much about to start. It's very easy to make routing errors, forgetting which category you're doing. Oh, Rcalarc slipping up a little bit there on the orb, and to go back and respawn the guy. while Pesu is getting the Fire Flower. It gets Orb right the second time, while Pesu gets it first time through, and pretty much catches up. Not a lot in it now. And we've still got plenty of run to go as well. So this category, we won't be seeing Bowser again. This category finishes as soon as they stomp on the blue switch in Forest of Illusion. Rcalarc finishing up with that. And Pesu also getting a yump. Get your wallet out, Bert. The yump there is just a little bit of swag for anyone that doesn't know. When you jump onto that switch, or any P-switch in the game, there's one frame where the game considers you to be standing on it, and so you can also jump. And the yump is a frame-perfect jump off of that Switch Palace switch. Specifically the Switch Palace switches. Yeah, we're seeing World 2 a little bit different. World 1, sorry, a little bit different this time around. Carrying this Yoshi along with us. We'll want to be keeping Yoshi as... I say we, they. Will be wanting to keep a Yoshi as long as they can for a while. Because we want to keep on getting these orbs. Rcalarc getting a 98. Pesu getting that a little bit quicker. Thanks, Vert. I was trying to find that myself. So yeah, you may be thinking, hey, why are these guys going back to World 1? Well, let me tell you. It's for an orb. We'll be seeing a few of these throughout the run. No problems this time around either. That's what we like to see. So yeah, a lot of the routing in this category is pretty much revolving around getting orbs and when to get cape. Because backtracking to YI1 for that orb can lose quite a bit of time, so you've got to make sure you're only using it in pretty long levels. This one they will be keeping, not for the level they're in now. We'll be seeing the same... no, sorry, not the same strat as we've seen before, because they're getting the normal exit. Yeah, they want to keep that Yoshi. They'll be using that orb in this auto-scroller instead. So Rcalarc going for a slightly slower strat than what some runs go for there. Yeah, so Pesu going for the drop on 96, grab on 95 strat. Rcalarc going for a slightly older, like outdated strat, though it's thought of by some runners to be more consistent. I'm not entirely sure how accurate that is. It's just a newer strat, I guess. So people that run the category a lot have had less time to get used to it. Oh dear. Pesu having a bit of trouble with orb there. And from the looks of it, won't be going for the cape in Donut Pesu if he's getting the orb now. So what the route that you're seeing Rcalarc take is the standard one. You grab a cape so that you can get up to the pipe and up to the keyhole quicker, as we see him demonstrate perfectly. And then you would switch back to your fire in the green switch here, since you're right at the top. And then you would go and grab an orb afterwards. Pesu doing that a little out of order, so we'll be a little bit slower in this level, but doesn't have to go back for an orb now after the green switch because he's already got one. I missed. That was another yump. I was looking over on Pesu's side. Pesu also showing off that you can slide up slopes backwards on Yoshi. Little known fact, yeah, Yoshi you can slide up slopes because, well, Yoshi just doesn't agree with physics, so being a bit rebellious. Yeah, while we saw Rcalarc was able to get up to the pipe sooner, so having to wait for the layer 2. And then use this blue shell to get up instead. Ooh, having a bit of trouble getting up onto the ceiling. So because he doesn't have P-speed, oh dear. That's not what we want to see. And that orb won't help him either. That will take him to top secret area. Because that's actually the normal exit of this. Little known fact. Looks like he's debating on what to do. Okay, looks like he's not going back for another orb. I think it probably would be worth it. Probably the best thing to do there would have been to go into top secret area and grab Yoshi and fire and then go over back down to Y1 for an orb. Meanwhile, Pesu having no problem in the ghost house. Moves along to DP3. No, wait, ignore me. Rcalarc already had a fire flower, so... Yoshi, rather. So could have just gone straight to Y1 for the fire flower and orb. Because you'll save a hell of a lot of time with that in Morton. Wonder whether he's just going to go back for it after he flies through these levels, knowing that cape is faster than running. While Pesu also flying over the levels, but not with the cape, abusing the blue shell properties. Oh, not going for one there, though. Oh, it goes for a later one. That's not a strat that I've seen people go for before, actually. It's interesting. Looks safer than the early blue shell. But since he delayed to grab it, it was a little slower. I wonder whether we'll be seeing any more of that strat during the tournament from different people. So now, Pesu moving on to Morton's castle. Gonna use this orb. Oh, misses bouncing off the thwimp. Okay, no problem. Those thwimps, if you're not careful, as you're bouncing off of them, if they're moving upwards quickly enough when you're falling onto them, they can just clip up straight into Mario, and instead of bouncing off of them, you'll take damage. So good job that didn't happen there. Rcalarc not going back for an orb in Morton, opting instead to just use the cape to fly up it instead. Will be a bit slower, but not as slow as if he didn't have the cape and had to do the castle anyway. Interesting. So we're seeing Pesu do Swirpy. That's a strat I haven't seen in years. Oh boy. So yeah, the usual route here would be after Morton going back for another orb and switching out the Fire Flower for a cape. And then you would get wings in this level. And you would clip using Yoshi in the next one. So, seeing a Swirpy from Pesu, that's a nice one. I wonder what he'll be doing in the next level. I guess he'll just have to ditch Yoshi and swim through it normally. Oh no. Opting instead to just do that level as is and then go back. Perhaps while mashing out of the save dialogue, he also entered the level. Not sure. So going back for the final orb of the run from Pesu. And we're seeing Rcalarc also entering VD1. Oh, misses the orb. He collected that thing, so won't be able to get that orb anymore. I believe that actually, that coin from the what's it called? The jump-in piranha plant thing. That probably would be in the correct sprite slot now, actually, if you deload it. Oh, still having trouble with this orb. Giving Rcalarc a fair chance to catch up. So we're seeing Rcalarc go for clip. Maybe he'll be going back for the orb after red switch. Yeah, after grabbing the coin from the Rex, you wouldn't be able to do the standard orb, but using the coin from... What is happening here? It's having so much trouble with this orb. Is he not going right enough? There we go. So, Rcalarc is either opting out of the final orb, or will be going back after red switch. I would hope he's going back after red switch. You know, potentially taking it a bit safe, not, you know, doing a few extra levels that you might end up getting hit on. Oh no. That would actually be worth grabbing there. You have a Buzzy Beetle, you could do a Buzzy Jump, or even go back for that Yoshi. Get up to that orb, because you'll need the normal exit of this level eventually anyway. You know, you can't use that orb for Butterbridge 1 anymore, but would have been able to use it for this level. Oh wait. Ignore me. I'm getting my levels mixed up again. Somehow. While thinking of the secret exit for VD1, I was thinking also of the normal exit for VD2. That's not what takes you off the left side of the mountain. Ignore me completely. Pesu's call was the right one there. Another yump from Pesu. Has this been 5 out of 8 yumps? So Pesu not going back for another orb now, which I'm fairly sure would still be worth it at this point, because Butter Bridge is a pretty long level, and you're going back from the beginning of Vanilla Dome when you grab it in the first place. So interesting to see the choices that these people are making. Rcalarc also didn't go back for another orb. You'd need to re-grab a Yoshi again, but you can grab fire in the same level that you get the orb. Would have definitely been worth it in Rcalarc's case, though, considering at the time he still had the power-ups necessary. Anywho, we're past the orbs now. We've both got Cape and Fire, which is actually something you don't usually see at this point. Usually you would not have a Fire Flower here. So the fact that we're seeing them means we'll get a quick Ludwig. If they can hold on to it, that is. Clean fortress there from Rcalarc. So, as I said a couple of races ago, I doubt we'll be seeing much in this level. So, if you want to go take a toilet break, you want to go get yourself a drink, now's the time. The fortress that Pesu is in as well will hopefully be non-problematic. Spinner's Cape a tad late to get the Thwomp boss there, I think. If you spin as you come out of that orange pipe at the right place, you can manipulate the camera in such a way that the Thwomp doesn't spawn. And even if you do it correctly, at the correct place, it's still based on the sprite spawning frame rule. Sprites will only spawn every other frame, so even if you spin your cape in the right place, depending on the... I believe it's the level frame rule, so based on the frame that you enter the level. If you're on the wrong parity, then you won't get it. Oh, not level frame rule, sorry, the global timer, because it's based on the frame you enter the level. Pesu's stocking up on lives here. Hopefully won't need them. Haven't got that much longer of the race to go. And currently, we've got Rcalarc in the lead. If you haven't been watching from the beginning, the first two races were No Cape, No Starwald, which Pesu won. And then Rcalarc won 11 exit, No Cape. So we're having all switches as a tiebreak. And so far, both of them won the category that they had put forward. And it's on track to be the same this time as well. Nice flying there for Rcalarc in the castle. And as we saw in No Starwald, hitting Ludwig with 2 fireballs and then jumping on him makes his fight much shorter than you would usually see in this category. You'd usually be entering this with just a cape, no fire. But since both of them ended up not having an orb for Butterbridge 1, they got a fire flower along their way instead. Ooh, Pesu taking a bit of damage though. Should still be fine. It's pretty scary grabbing a power-up that falls after you've hit the on-off switch, but grabbed that quick enough that it wasn't a problem. Oh, and would have needed it as well, taking another hit on those spikes. Oh no! Coming back into the castle small. That's unfortunate. So, going to be showing off these No Cape, No Starwald strats again. Entering the castle small. And grabbing that mushroom for safety, not a bad move. We saw that when Rcalarc was doing this room 2 without cape, he took a scroll to get those Odaboos out the way sooner. Pesu's perfectly comfortable just jumping under them. And this is the fence. I thought that Cooper had got him then. He jumped up out the way while he was on an invisible frame. And here is the cycle skip. So if you hit that Ludwig while he's in the air, he won't go back into his rolling around phase again, and you can just jump on him a third time. So if you don't have fire, that's the strat you want to take. So Rcalarc done with the clip. Gave him some trouble in the first race. Switches to fire for some reason, not really sure why, but now he finishes the race. And Rcalarc is our winner. Pesu just has a few levels to go. And if he wants to come in to chat about the races, can do that as well if he jumps into the on deck. voice channel, but if not, that's fine too. So Pesu finishing up with Forest of Illusion 1. Going for wings. Oh, yeah, those wings are luck-based as well. You also have to, because you're right next to it, you have to give the block some rightwards momentum. As we saw there, and get those wings beautifully. So now we have a blue Yoshi. Not that we'll have him for much longer, hopefully. Gonna get these clips. Dismounting into the ceiling to get him onto water physics. Oh! We don't know why that happens. Sometimes when you get kicked out of the wall, you also get thrown off of Yoshi. As far as I know, nobody's figured out why that happens yet. And it means that you have no idea what Yoshi's subpixel is, and so you can't manipulate it. So with this, Rcalarc will be finishing, Pesu, sorry, will be finishing up the final level. So going for Pipefly. No reason why not at this point, I guess. And he's done as well. So I don't know if they want to come in to talk about the races at all. Doesn't look like Rcalarc is. And I imagine that Pesu won't be. If anybody's wondering, Rcalarc has a race sometime tomorrow afternoon. I can't say. 12 a.m. Friday, British summertime. Whatever that is in your own time zone. He's got his next race there. Event against Lost Core. Pesu's next race against Logical is on Saturday, 7 p.m. British summertime. Oh wait, I was looking up at the running over onto the next day. As I've been corrected in chat, yeah. It's not 12 a.m. Friday, it's 10 p.m. Thursday, British summertime, whatever that is in your own time zone. Is Lost Core versus Rcalarc. I don't like how when a match runs over onto the next day, it updates the time on the thing. That's confusing. Yeah, they're the next ones. That's also actually the next race that's been scheduled so far. There's no races between this and Rcalarc's next race. But then on Friday, we've got quite a few. We have, well, Seathorn versus Storster is 1 a.m. British summertime. I know a lot of the folks here are in the Americas, and so that would still be Thursday for you. Late on Thursday. But later on the Friday, we do also have Furo Furo versus Miso Soup. We have DJko versus Miku. We have Storster versus Superior Zone. And Tiku versus TJ Crunchy. So Friday, we've got quite a few races if anybody's looking forward to them. But yeah, between then and now, not much. Rcalarc's race is next, and if nobody's coming to join us, I'll just have to say goodbye until then. Thanks for watching, folks. We'll be back